Maria is a 45-year-old widow, a resident of Maputo, Mozambique. Her husband passed away due to HIV. He was a mine worker, and since then, she has been living with her 2 children, her sister Stella, and her 3 kids. For the last few weeks, Maria has not been feeling well. She has started to develop persistent cough, night sweats, and fever. With all the responsibilities of her family in mind, she decided to get tested at a nearby health facility. Her test results came back positive for tuberculosis, or TB. Already living with HIV, Maria is devastated by this news. The health facility was not sensitive or supportive while breaking this news and only told her to ask her family members to call for screening. Maria called Stella with all the 5 kids to visit the health facility. When she arrived at the health facility, the appointed nurse said that they were all being screened because Maria had tested positive for TB. The nurse did not provide any further information or counseling about tuberculosis. When they all got back home, Stella started to behave differently with Maria due to the usual stigmas attached to TB. She prohibits her from using utensils, using the washroom, and such basic things. After a few days, Stella asked Maria to leave the house. Maria is now thrown out of her own home with little to no money and is on the road with TB. Somehow, she manages to find a small place for herself and her kids. This place, being on the outskirts of the city, is very far from her health facility where she is getting treated. During one of her visits to the health facility, she spots her old friend, Olivia, who is a TB survivor herself and now works with ADPP. Maria tells Olivia how she is thrown out of her house due to TB and is now becoming very difficult for her to visit the facility regularly, especially with the high fever. After listening to Maria's story about her condition, Olivia immediately tells her about OneImpact. She patiently orients Maria about the platform where you can get all the required information about TB and the rights of people diagnosed with TB. Also, on her behalf, she helps Maria report an issue about the difficulty in accessing the treatment due to the distance of the facility. Maria also decides to report on the insensitive experience of the health staff at the health facility where she was tested, which has led to stigmatization. The first responder received Maria's reported barriers for TB and validated them by confirming her patient ID number is real. Thereafter, the first responder contacted TB activists and enrolled her for community-based DOTs, making sure she adheres to the treatment. The first responders also report the training gap of the health staff with regard to providing information and counseling for people who are diagnosed with TB and their family members. Bringing this to the notice of the health facility manager leads to conduct a training camp for the health facility staff. In a few days' time, the first responder and the activists together met with the community leaders to present CLM data analysis and the key identified issues in the community, especially such as the story of Maria being kicked out of her own home due to TB stigma, and further discussed how to reduce it. The community leader, along with the community members, decided to launch an awareness campaign on TB to make people more aware of TB as a disease and orient people on how to become supportive of their family members and neighbors and reduce the stigma around it. On the other side, the nurse who told Maria about her TB diagnosis had completed her orientation and training on the importance of information and counseling in TB. She realizes that not doing her job properly has led Maria into this situation. She decides to correct her mistakes by calling Maria's family again and providing them with the right information and counseling. After the session, Stella realizes that she has done wrong by Maria and she needs to support her in this fight against TB. She calls her back home as Maria is already on her treatment course. Now, after 6 months, Maria has completed her treatment and is happy with her kids and family, living a healthy life. Maria felt so empowered through OneImpact and the support she got from TB activists and volunteers that she joined the OneImpact volunteer force to promote the platform and assist other community members in their fight against TB. Maria's story is one among many where OneImpact gives access to people affected by TB to speak up and report their challenges, and hereby identifying the gaps to be solved.